is that there was turmoil during my love affair with Farrah. A lot of it caused by my family, by my kids.
Ryan O'Neal once seemed to have everything a man could dream of. He was the golden boy of Hollywood after Love Story. And by his side was Farrah Fawcett, the woman every magazine called the most beautiful in the world. To fans, they were untouchable. The greatest power couple with a life of luxury and romance. But what the cameras didn't capture was that their love was also tumultuous, with breakups and reconciliations and silent regrets. For decades, Ryan remained quiet about the darkest reality of their relationship. And when he finally spoke up at the age of 82, it stunned everyone who believed they already knew their tale. The illusion of perfection was broken, replaced with a heart-wrenching admission that altered the way the world remembered both of them. When audiences first saw Ryan O'Neal in the early 1970s, he was more than another pretty face in Hollywood. His starring role in Love Story made him an overnight sensation, and the film itself became a cultural touchstone. It was quoted by people, its lines posted on dorm room walls, and Ryan suddenly the actor all the studios were clamoring to cast. His face was that of the romantic leading man who personified youthful zeal and heartbreak. Across the public's eye from Farrah Fawcett, who was embarking on her own career ascent. With her bright smile, sun-bleached locks, and a vivacity that appeared to illuminate each room she entered, she was a household name in an instant. Her poster in the iconic red swimsuit was a top seller with millions of copies sold, and she was one of the world's most recognizable women. By the time Ryan and Farrah's lives converged, media outlets took no time in labeling them Hollywood royalty. In the eyes of the public, they appear to be the perfect couple. The lovely film actor and TV sweetheart, whose careers epitomized a golden age of entertainment. Tabloids and magazines published photos of them attending premieres, vacations, and celebrity parties. The relationship appeared to be the dream of most people, which they could only have imagined. Glamorous, exciting, and full of hope. For fans, Ryan and Farrah epitomized the possibility of true love in the midst of Hollywood's blinding lights. But below the dazzling facade, things were a lot more complicated. Their chemistry was undeniable, but the people who knew them closer started to sense tension. Farrah's quick rise to fame made her an international icon, and Ryan's own career had the challenge of remaining relevant in an arena that was already in transition. Both bore a huge burden, and their relationship became a battleground of ambition, insecurity, and the crushing pressures of fame. The fissures in their apparently flawless romance had already begun to show, but only the world got the photo-perfect grins on the covers of magazines. Ryan and Farrah's 1970s were the decade that ultimately shaped them into a couple. They were the ideal couple that captured people's imaginations. Yet they were also two strong and independent people with very different demands. What appeared to be fate was actually the start of an affair filled with passion, drama, and heartache. And while everyone believed they were seeing the budding of Hollywood's golden couple, they were wrong. What was to follow would only show how tumultuous this union really was. Ryan O'Neal and Farrah Fawcett's romance shone brightly from the outside like a Hollywood fairy tale. However, the people around them were aware of an entirely different scenario playing out behind the closed doors. Their nearly 3-decade-long relationship was far from smooth. It was marred by passion and intensity, but also by fights that could burst out at any moment. Friends remembered the way the pair could be inseparable one minute and fighting the next, frequently splitting up only to come back together again, as if nothing had happened. Some of this was down to Ryan himself. Admittingly, in later life, he had issues with jealousy and possessiveness. Farrah was not only admired, she was loved across the globe. Her face was on bed walls in shiny magazines and on TV sets each week. For Ryan, seeing the world's obsession with the lady he loved was both a source of pride and insecurity. Rumors of adultery fueled the fire, either way, and their domestic life was frequently disturbed by suspicion. Farrah, by contrast, was eager to establish a career that transcended poster girl status. She wanted to be treated seriously as an actress and frequently tested the boundaries that Hollywood sought to impose on her. That ambition sometimes conflicted with Ryan's own struggle for a career. As she took risk after risk, he was riding a roller coaster of ups and downs following his initial blockbuster triumph. Rather than celebrating each other's successes, their relationship turned into a tug-of war between desire and bitterness. Tabloids, never averse to a sex scandal, hyped their romance life as the greatest soap opera ever. One week they were seen together at an A-list event. The following week, breaking headlines screamed about a breakdown. Fans were not able to keep pace with the whirlwind, but they did not understand that this cycle of breaking up and getting back together had become the signature rhythm of their love. It was messy, draining, but it was also magnetic. Neither Ryan nor Farrah was able to walk away for long, no matter how hard they tried. This trend of volatility would take them far beyond the sparkle of the 1970s into a new world where both their careers and their love affair will be put to the test in ways no one could ever imagine. And just when it appeared they could finally find some peace, another change would alter the direction of their story. By the early 1990s, the golden aura that used to cling to Ryan O'Neal and Farrah Fawcett had slowly disintegrated. Hollywood evolved, and so did they. Ryan, once one of the most bankable leading men, struggled to find a role that lived up to the hope of his early days. Audiences had long since moved on, and Ryan had frequently cited that he did not have a clue how to reimagine himself for a fresh generation of movies. Farrah, on the other hand, was forging another path. She had defied her typecasting as merely a TV star and poster icon and demonstrated she had the range and commitment to play substantial dramatic parts. Her work in live theater and TV movies started earning her critical acclaim, if only at the expense of abandoning the stylish persona that originally catapulted her to fame. This divergence in direction created a widening chasm between them. Farrah was searching for substance, significance, and artistic satisfaction, whereas Ryan struggled with professional frustration and inner demons. The couple's friends also said that the couple's lives appeared to be going in opposite directions. Farrah was changing and Ryan was holding on to the past. That disbalance often made the couple's relationship a battlefield of unresolved expectations. By the late 1990s, the couple officially broke up. With almost 2 decades of chaos, it seemed that their story had finally come to an end. However, even in breaking up, Ryan could not shake off what they had. Years later, he confessed that he was not the boyfriend Farrah deserved. He admitted that selfishness, pride, and immaturity contributed to driving her away. In interviews, he was brutally honest about how he did not appreciate her when he could have. "She was the love of my life," he said, "and I let her slip away." Yet while the world thought their romance was over for good, their attachment was not so easily broken. What no one knew then was that fate had a new chapter waiting for Ryan and Farrah, one that would reunite them in more heartbreaking circumstances than anyone could have conceived. During 2006, the saga of Ryan O'Neal and Farrah Fawcett took a twist nobody could have anticipated. Farrah, the woman whose face once epitomized health, beauty, and vitality, was given a crushing diagnosis. She was fighting cancer, and the news caused shockwaves worldwide. Fans who had loved her since Charlie's Angels days sat in stunned silence as she weathered the most difficult battle of her life. What made the tale even more compelling was that Ryan, after all those years of being apart, arguing, and having regrets, was suddenly right by her side. Their reunion was not conceived in the glamour of Hollywood, but in necessity, loyalty, and love. Ryan, previously chastised for being self-absorbed, became caretaker. He went with Farrah to treatments, protected her from intrusive media when possible, and attempted to comfort her in a fight that was public and brutal at times. For him, it was more than about standing by her physically. It was an opportunity to mend what was broken, to demonstrate that despite it all, his love for her had never actually diminished. Farrah, refusing to relinquish control of her own story, elected to tell it to the world. Her documentary, Farrah's Story, was broadcast in 2009 and gave the world an unvarnished glimpse of her treatments, her travails, and her bravery. The special attracted millions of viewers, who were stunned by her candor. She had been glimpsed as merely a glamorous starlet before, but now she was